Today we have the honor of having Congressman Howard Berman with us, who is from the 28th Congressional District in Southern California, representing the greater San Fernando Valley. Honorable Congressman, welcome to our small gathering here for the Pakistani-American community. I would first like to ask you to introduce yourself and your district and how long you've been in Congress.
My name is Howard Berman. I'm a member of Congress now for 28 years. I represent California's 28th congressional seat, which is basically the eastern San Fernando Valley area.
Thank you. Congressman, those of you who don't know about Congressman Howard Berman is a very important person in the Congress, and especially very special for Pakistan-American relationship. He is the B with the Kerry Lugar Bill aid for Pakistan, and he's directly involved in monitoring the aid program. Congressman, for those who don't know, the audience who don't know about the Kerry Lugar Bill, would you please give a brief explanation as to what benefit it will provide Pakistan and how stronger it'll make the relationship between U.S. and Pakistan?
Well, what the Congress wanted to do in 2009, and we continue to want to do this, is to change the nature of the U.S. relationship with Pakistan. That it shouldn't just be defined by security assistance or some specific crisis. And so the Kerry Lugar Bill, which I was the chief sponsor of in the House of Representatives, it focused on a long-term program that would develop a strategic and economic partnership with Pakistan, and that the United States would demonstrate its desire for that long-term relationship by committing a significant amount of economic assistance. This isn't military aid, this is economic assistance for a 5-year period, no less than $1.5 billion each of those 5 years. And by doing this, people would understand we're not here just for the current year or for a specific political project. We want to have a relationship that's enduring, one that both Pakistanis and Americans could be proud of.
Congressman, would like to hear something about on the situation of trade with the United States, Pakistan-U.S. trade. Is there any way where U.S. government can consider abolishing the duty or give a duty-free status to Pakistani textile product in particular to motivate the U.S. importers and traders to buy more goods from Pakistan, which in turn will create a lot of employment in Pakistan and prosperity? Is there something of this nature can happen? Do you see this in the future going?
Well, first, on the issue of aid versus trade, the aid is important. We can help on some key energy projects. We can help Pakistan strengthen its educational system. We can do some valuable work in healthcare. But in the end, we can do much more for the Pakistan and for Americans if we have a more robust trade relationship. And given the size of Pakistan, there's no reason why this can't happen. We tried in the Kerry Lugar Berman legislation to get a free trade zone up in the Fatah area of Pakistan, and it got caught up with different versions of the language, and while the House passed it, the Senate never did. The issue of trade is a sensitive issue right now in the United States because of our own economic problems, but my own view is that greater trade helps both countries, not just one country. And I'm going to be working to see, particularly in this area of textiles, if there aren't some things that we can do in the upcoming year to try and incentivize more Pakistani exports to the United States. Because the one thing I know is it's going to end up being cheaper for the American taxpayer to provide money through trade than it is through aid. So I agree with that.
Congressman, the Kerry Lugar bill funding, is there any specific amount earmarked for specifically education purpose? Because that is the core for Pakistan and the future of Pakistan. Unless we educate the masses, Pakistan will never come out of its problem.
We also, I think the general sense, and it can be reflected both in the language of the bill and in the report, think that education is fundamental to the long-term future of Pakistan. What we tried to do was not earmark in the legislation specific dollar amounts, but let the collaboration between our government and the Pakistani government determine what were the highest priorities. So even though we think education is the most single important issue, there was a desperate need by the Pakistani government to have a particular couple of energy projects right at the beginning, and I believe we went along with that and are funding those projects. But education is at the heart of it.
Congressman, thank you so much for taking the time and talking to us. We really appreciate it.